For my next trick, I'll be making myself disappear. Did it work? Magic Camp is the latest exclusive to drop on the Disney Plus streaming service. It stars Adam Levine, Gillian Jacobs, and Jeffrey Tambor, and is directed by Freaky Friday and Mean Girls director Mark Waters. Before we get into this, don't forget to hit that like button. It does wonders in getting my content out there, and if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to keep up to date with all my content. Magic Camp follows Andy, a failed magician cum cab driver who returns to his childhood magic camp as a mentor. Andy leads a young group of magicians towards their success as they help him rekindle his own passion for his craft. All the while, Andy goes up against a rival magician and ex-partner, Kristina Darkwood. Magic Camp is a film which has been in production hell at Disney for quite a number of years now. It was first announced way back in 2014. Cameras didn't get rolling on it until 2017. It was wrapped and ready for a theatrical release in 2018 before being dropped from the release schedule altogether, and now in 2020 it's finally getting a release as a streaming exclusive on the Disney Plus platform. Now this is a movie that Disney have actually kept pretty quiet about. We have known that it was going to be coming to Disney Plus for a couple of years now, but they didn't announce until 2 weeks ago that it was actually coming out, well, this week. The trailer for this film wasn't released until like 3 days ago, and the poster, everything debuted. So naturally, everyone's kind of been a little bit skeptical about this movie, especially with the track record of the last few Disney Plus movies, well, especially like Artemis Fowl, which was the last one, which was just, it was just awful. The worst Disney movie ever. So hopes for Magic Camp certainly have not been very high. But I gotta say, this movie's actually okay. It's actually alright. Like, this is a movie that I was very, very, very prepared to go into, expecting to be another Artemis Fowl, but this movie's okay. I actually quite enjoyed this one. This is a movie for the kids. It's a family film, and I guess it's kind of in the same style as Timmy Failure, which came out a couple of months ago on Disney Plus. But this one comes in, it's a long line of films that were originally supposed to be released theatrically. Noelle is another one of them that was filmed a couple of years ago and then kind of denounced to Disney Plus. Now, the common consensus with these Disney Plus movies so far has been that, well, Disney obviously realized these movies were awful and dumped them on the streaming service instead of releasing them to cinemas. Well, the track record of these for me has actually been okay. Artemis Fowl is the only one that I thought was really, really dreadful, and I just kind of think that in the time that they filmed this, I mean, again, this was filmed back in 2017. This is around the time that their live action remakes were finally like really taking off, around the time that the Star Wars films were doing big money, the Marvel films are doing big money. They kind of realized that a small family film that like this that probably would have done very well in the 1990s and the early 2000s just wasn't performing very well in the cinemas. So instead of sending them to cinemas and making them absolutely tank, like, I mean, this movie would have bombed at the box office, I can tell you that. And that is, again, not speaking to the quality of the movie, it's just that cinema goers don't go and see movies like this on the big screen anymore. This is something that would have absolutely bombed. So I think that Disney made a very smart decision to put it on Disney Plus, where it really is going to get the most amount of eyes. And I think more people are probably going to watch this movie this weekend than they would have in its entire theatrical run if they did release it to cinemas. But like I said, this is actually a fairly decent movie. It's what you would expect from a Disney family film. It's got quite a few laughs in here. It's got a very decent story. It's charming. It's heartwarming. It's really everything that you do expect going into a Disney family film. No, it's not the greatest movie ever made. It's not going to go on as a Disney classic like some of the ones that I grew up with in the 1990s, like The Parent Trap or Flubber or any of those movies. I don't know, do those films still hold up today, or is this just like nostalgia talking like crazy? But I think this is a movie that will go down fairly well. It's something that a family can enjoy together on a Friday or a Saturday night, and really there's no issues that I had with this movie. Maybe it is a little bit derivative of family films that have come before it. Most particularly School of Rock. This movie, I think, lends very heavily from that, particularly when in the whole scheme of things where you've got a teacher teaching a group of kids in a specialty area. The teacher's a little bit wacky, is a bit crazy. He's suffering his own life problems at the same time. So yeah, it's fairly derivative of School of Rock. And come to think of it, Devine actually delivers a performance that's fairly reminiscent of Jack Black's performance in that film. So yeah, I feel like School of Rock is a very big influence on this film, but it's nothing that overly ruins the appeal of the film or my enjoyability of the movie. I mean, family films, kids films are so highly derivative. They all have this same formula. They're very predictable, and you know how they're going to end when it starts. But you can't have a problem with that because these are films that are geared towards kids, they're geared towards families. And look, I actually had a lot of fun with this movie. As I said, this is charming. It's fun. There's actually quite a few decent laughs in here. All the performances are really great. Even though he is kind of doing his best Jack Black Dewey Finn here, Adam Devine delivers an enjoyable role. Gillian Jacobs is a whole lot of fun as well, and all the kid performers do an incredible job too. Overall, the film has a really enjoyable ensemble cast, and you can tell that they are all just having a lot of fun making this movie. Like I said, I've had issues with a couple of Disney Plus movies in the past. Artemis Fowl was awful, Stargirl didn't really work for me, but Magic Camp, which is the film that, to be completely honest, was the one that everyone was just so completely worried about and everyone just thought was going to be absolutely dreadful, is fine. This movie's fine. I can't fault it. It does what it sets out to do, and that is be a really decent, charming, heartwarming family adventure. That said, I'll be happily giving Magic Camp a 3 out of 5. Magic Camp is a charming and surprisingly enjoyable family flick with a great heart and a decent story. Look, I'm sure there are a lot of things that you could be super nitpicky about with this movie, but I just don't see the point. This is a film that does its job for its intended audience and does it fairly well. It certainly isn't anything incredibly special, and sure, it's fairly predictable and schmaltzy, but the younger ones should have a good time. Like I keep saying, I think Disney Plus is a fantastic breeding ground for these kinds of movies, the ones that don't really do too well on the big screen, but the ones that everyone does love. Everyone does love a good Disney family flick, and I think the world would be a little bit less magical without them coming out every once in a while. We all grow up with these movies, and these do need to have a place to exist, and Disney Plus, again, is the perfect place for that. But at that, guys, it's over to you out there. I want to know, have you seen Magic Camp? If you have, what did you think about it? If you haven't seen it, what are your expectations going into it? Fire away down in the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Until next time, guys, of course, continue to stay safe, continue to take it easy, and I'll see you on the next one. If this is your first time viewing one of my videos and you'd like to see more like it in the future, then please don't forget to hit that big old subscribe button up on your screen, as well as that like button down below for that little extra support. Also, don't forget to check me out on social media, and please consider supporting me over on Patreon. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic day.